Pete Fettig is, of course, the upline director of Karatbars here, and we are actually going to start a Karatbars business here in Nutrimedical. So, welcome to the program, Pete.
How you doing, Dr. Bill?
Excellent. I think I hear a little bit of an echo there, but I think our board op John can take care of that.
Okay.
We have, I've of course been promoting the sale of gold and silver for probably 20 years, and I purchased over time quite a bit of gold and silver, but the Karatbars business goes one step beyond that, and I'd like you to explain why it's such a great business to not only save money as gold, but also the fact that you're actually building a downline of a business. You can actually get cash that goes to a MasterCard denominated in euros that's then converted to U.S. dollars, whatever currency you're in. So you don't have to be in America. You can be in any country in the world. The other thing is there are future things such as Karat money, which will actually come out about the end of the year, where you use fractional, if you want to call it internet conversion of currency, and you're going to be able to buy with Karatbar money, etc., which is going to be inflation-proof. So when the currencies are being devalued, like the one in Greece, then effectively they're going to devalue the currency dramatically, or the euro or the dollar in the not-too-distant future. Your Karat money is not going to devalue, and that's what's really exciting about this.
Yes, it is. And Dr. Bill, if you don't mind, I'd actually like to start by kind of prefacing what I'm going to say by the need and the solution, and that is that, I'm not one of these people that gets into fear, what I call fear porn,
right,
which is trying to scare the bejesus out of everybody all the time.
Right.
And get them to take action, because that's not the way to solve anything, and it's not the way to make friends and build something that's lasting. It's a form of whining, in my estimation.
Exactly. In other words, take action, don't whine, and don't blow things out of proportion, but do be prepared for the fact that there are specific issues and dangers.
That's right. We at the same time, we do need to pay attention to what's going on around us, because we need to be able to take action and be proactive as possible for anything that might happen, whether good or bad, for that matter. But as we see what's going on, particularly in Greece, but this has been going on for a while. We saw what happened in Cyprus a couple of years ago, where everybody that had a savings account took a 30% haircut by the banks there. They just legally confiscated the savings of people to pay off their banking buddies. And the same thing is going to happen in Greece, probably, the way it sounds. And in Detroit a couple of years ago, the city went bankrupt, and pensions took quite a hammering from that. And these things all warrant that what's happening in Greece is happening in Cyprus and happened in Detroit. Those things are all coming here, folks. And if you don't think that's reality, you got another thing coming. And
well, we have a formula for this disaster. The first is politicians elect themselves by using the printing press of making paper money. The second factor is that the derivatives and the overall debt is so great that the whole GDP of the world couldn't pay it off by hundreds of times.
That's right.
And the third factor is the policies don't write off the debt like the ancient Hebrew principle of the Shemitah, or where they call it the Jubilee, or where they wipe out debt and people return to the land of their fathers. So what we have is a situation where debt is a monster that they're feeding, and of course the chaos masters want to maintain control no matter how badly they screw things up. Their ultimate goal many times is actually to proceed with not only economic devastation, but always precedes war.
That's right.
And we want to warn people that what's going on in Greece is almost certainly going to mean there'll be a NATO invasion of Greece because of the social chaos going there. And it'll be followed by social chaos in Ireland, Italy, Portugal, and Spain. And out of it, you'll see a fascist superstate arise and trying to control things with a population that's vastly depreciated in their personal assets. You'll have quite a different world in Europe. And people think, well, that can't come here. Of course it can. These currencies are all interlocked. And people need to be aware that when you have paper money, anything denominated something that politicians can print is is of relative valueless or less value because it can drop by version related to commodities or gold and silver, which basically there's a limited supply and limited supply of even certifying agencies. So it's a big deal, isn't it?
Absolutely. And, what it really comes down to is to take positive steps. Number one, you have to get your money out of harm's way. And I know people may say we're crazy for thinking it, but number one, take your money out of the bank. Get it out of harm's way.
Yeah.
But that still doesn't protect your wealth or your purchasing power. So the second thing is to actually take that money and convert it into something that preserves your purchasing power.
Right.
And precious metals are a way to do that. And specifically, the company that we are working with and introducing today, Karatbars, sells gold by the gram. So it's affordable to the average person. And
right.
So this is a way to not only preserve your purchasing power, but it actually provides a way to work towards a solution, which is to get back to a gold economy. And as crazy as that sounds, that's what needs to be done. It's if the dollar went to zero and we fixed it, quote unquote, by coming into the new currency, it's still going to be fiat if it's not backed up 100% by gold. So if it's not gold, it's not going to work. And so ultimately, we do need to save our wealth in gold or precious metals or something tangible that's always going to have value. And gold and precious metals are that kind of thing.
What makes the Karatbars different? Because I've accumulated quite a bit of gold and silver over the years.
Sure.
Is the Karatbars business allows you to create a downline, and you not only save gold, but here's the business model. You also get, because if you get, say, a VIP package, you get 20% of your sales downline. Gold, you get 15%. Silver, you get 10%. And bronze, 5%. You can get a bronze package, and you can even upgrade if you want, once you're registered, to a higher package, which means your downline, you'll get a greater percentage of money in your MasterCard credit card, as well as more money in terms of gold that you're actually saving and making. The model I saw, which is because it's a binary, is if you, and correct me if I'm wrong because I'm new to this one, but I'm familiar with multi-levels. This one is really well done, very, very ethical. It's a binary, which means if you sponsor one person at the bronze level and they buy one card, which is 1 gram of gold, I think around $55 a month, and they commit to buy at least one card a month, and they sponsor one person who does the same thing, in 12 months, your income will be $18,000 a month. So, in other words, if you replicate yourself every month and just buy one card, which is $55 of saving, let's say, in terms of a gold card, which won't be devalued or seized by the bank, or, like, for example, we now know that the bailing in policy is a national policy of the Western banks. So if they have a financial collapse, all of your savings could disappear or a good chunk of it. For example, in the current situation in Greece, over 9,000 euros, 30% of any of your money in the banks in Greece will be seized by the banks, and it just disappears. In other words, there's immediately a 30% devaluation in the money that you have in your pocket.
Absolutely.
Pretty nasty.
Absolutely. Yeah, just a slight correction on Karatbars. It's not called a binary. It has the same form as a binary in other networking companies does, but the difference between what Karatbars is doing, they call it a dual team system.
Excellent. When we come back, we'll go through all the details, what makes it different and unique. And stay right there. This is a fantastic business to get involved with, the Karatbars. We researched it thoroughly. It will support you. It will provide you an alternative income, and it'll give you security in a time of economic hyperinflation of currencies. And welcome back. And Pete Fettig is giving us instructions on the amazing business opportunity of Karatbars. Now, of course, explain the difference between this binary and others, because I really like the way it's structured. It makes it possible for you to work at it steadily, build a steady savings account in gold, also build a cash account on your MasterCard, and build a downline which will provide you a secondary income. And if you work it properly, as I know I've worked at other multi-levels, this one is not just selling, say, a particular supplement, selling something of lasting value that's not going to decay. And it's going to build a business that's inflation-proof and currency manipulation-proof, which I think is pretty amazing.
Absolutely. And when we left, I was starting to explain the difference between what's called a binary and the Karatbars dual team system. And that is that, first of all, everything that Karatbars sells that is commissionable has a unit value that it's assigned to it. So, for instance, a 1 gram gold card that we sell is 1 gram. I'm sorry, 1 unit. A 2.5 gram is 2 units. A 5 gram card is 3 units. A VIP package is 100 units. And so everything has a unit value. Every time that you accumulate 50 units on one side and 25 units on the other, you complete what's called a cycle, and you get paid a cycle bonus, and that bonus is, the amount of that bonus is contingent on what package level that you're at the time that you cycle out those units. But what really impresses me, and I think is even most fair of anything else, is that all the units that accumulate once you have a package, you have those units to infinity, and time-wise infinitely long until you cycle them out. So if something happened and you couldn't work at the business for a couple months or a year or a couple weeks, whatever the case may be, you would come back and you wouldn't have to start over. You would still have all the units that had accumulated to that point. And it's a great thing to see, because some of these companies, they have washout, and you have to start over every time the timeline is reached, whether it's 30 days or 45 days or a week. But with Karatbars, you keep all of that. And so that's one of the most impressive things that you see with Karatbars.
Right now, tell us how it works. That people will not only save on their downline gold and literally accumulate gold through their downline, but also accumulate cash through their point system and their MasterCard, denominate in euros, which is also converted to dollars. So in other words, you get cash in a MasterCard, which you can use, and you also get gold as well. Tell us how that works. Let's say I have personally just purchased a VIP package for myself. My wife is going to get VIP under me. We'll be putting our family on a line, let's say the left line. We'll have our people from the Nutrimedical on the right leg, and we have to, of course, we can literally place people over there so that, in other words, even if someone, let's say, is not working the business, we at Nutrimedical will be working it for them by putting people under them, which means they're going to start making money just by jumping in, getting registered, getting their package, which means they've purchased their package of what they want, whether it's bronze level, which they can upgrade. Bronze gets 5%, silver gets 10%, gold gets 15%, and 20% for VIP. And finally, their Know Your Customer, KYC, documents, which is your driver's license or, say, a power bill or a cable bill to prove you're a real person. And once they do that, they're in. I mean, we have one gentleman, Ruben, I'm not going to mention his last name. He was smart. He signed up already on our right leg. He's our first one. He's going to do really well. I mean, we will be placing a lot of people under him, which means even when he adds himself on his own leg, let's say he continues the right leg is going to be, say, where we put people from Nutrimedical, his left leg, he can build people under himself, and before you know it, he's got a significant income. So Ruben's going to do well. Absolutely.
Yeah, the key is, with Karatbars, of course, everything is optional, and that's why it's not considered technically an MLM or a network marketing company.
Right. You can just purchase gold if you want, or you can sign up and register and just purchase gold. You don't have to even have a percentage of your downline, but why would you? If you're having people downline even placed by us, and you don't even have to work to do that, why would you not buy a package so you get a percentage of the money downline goes to your credit card and you accumulate gold? I mean, it doesn't make sense, does it?
That's right. And but the designation that we are not an MLM or a network marketing company means This is why we're open in 123 countries and counting at the moment.
Right.
And if by getting a package, you're able to participate in the dual team system, and
right.
I would call that an income acceleration plan, because instead of being paid just once per month for anybody that you personally enroll in what's called the unilevel part of the plan, you also get paid weekly commissions if you have those coming due by anybody that gets enrolled and gets a package and buys gold, because those units all accumulate from anything that happens in your group, whether it comes from upline or from your own efforts or somebody that you have enrolled into the business. So
there's upline people that may be putting people further down below you. For example, we're going to be putting people down 5-10 layers low, and they're going to be gaining income just by being in that position if they have a package. And, of course, they'll get paid by both the sale of packages and the persons below them purchasing gold as well.
Absolutely. That's absolutely correct. I would like to point out one thing that is unique about the packages is that a lot of these network marketing companies, they sell what's called a distributor pack or a business building or starter pack.
Right.
And a lot of it is fluff. Sometimes it comes with some product and so forth, but a lot of times it's fluff. With Karatbars, everything that you receive, if you actually buy gold on a regular basis, these packages all come with discount cards and coupons that are good towards a future purchase of gold. And if all you do is just buy gold and you buy it on a regular basis, you'll actually save more money in discounts and have the gold to show for it on top of that. So they all pay for themselves, and plus the ability to start earning an income with it by sharing that with others. So nobody needs to be licensed or have any special designation and so forth. I mean, you don't have to have a precious metal dealer's license or anything, because you're not actually selling the gold. You're just showing people how to set up their own free gold saving account, and then Karatbars does the selling, and they're licensed internationally to be able to do that.
Yeah, it's a very neat thing. So it really isn't a multi-level marketing. It's more like a multi-level distribution where you can purchase gold or you can get involved in sponsoring other people to have a gold savings account is what it is. And there are a few steps, not to try to just log on and start registering and doing the other things, but contact us here at Nutrimedical at 888-212-8871, and Michelle will walk you through the whole process. And make certain that you're on the proper leg and you're ready. The process is to, number one, register, purchase a package. I recommend the highest one you can afford to start with so that you get a good percentage downline. And remember, you're going to be getting a percentage that goes to your MasterCard. You can have, as Pete said on the break, an automatic setup so that you can automatically purchase a certain amount of gold that goes in your gold savings account, so you actually get these Karatbar cards of gold. The thing I like about Karatbar cards is if you were, let's say that you were trying to buy something with gold coins, even a tenth of a gram of gold coin is still a lot of money. It's like $120 compared to Karatbar cards, which I think are like the lowest one is like $55 or $60 per card for a gram, 2 gram, or 5 gram. You then literally have a fractional amount of gold, which is certified by an LBMA certifying agency. So you have basically a currency, so that if you had to, let's say, fill your car up with gas or buy groceries, and Karat currency is actually coming the end of this year. I think in a few months we're going to be able to actually use a Karat currency, which will be like real money, because it'll actually have the gold in the currency notes itself. So, Pete, can you give some more explanation of that, please? I think we may have lost Pete, so we're going to try to see if we can get Pete back up. So, John, let's get Pete back up. What I want to do is go over what I know so far of this Karatbars system. If you sign up and register and call Michelle, and she sets you up, and you want to get in early, you want to work the business, so you yourself will be building downline. We will be automatically placing people downline below you. Pete, I want you to explain how the business works. So when people will be working in business, let's say they bring in 2 people a month, and we will be adding additional people onto them because we have a large flow of people that want to get involved with our Karatbars business to provide a secondary income for themselves, a savings account. And the average person, it turns out, I think, what's the number? I think half of Americans have less than $10,000 saved for retirement, is an example. That's an actual number. Most people don't have, the average person in America doesn't have $2,000 for an emergency, like in their sock or on a bank account if they had a real crisis. People need to start savings, but they also need to save in a form of exchange that won't be destroyed. It's very likely that starting with the Greek currency and the euro, and then spreading to the dollar, and of course also people don't realize the same issues are being ignored by the Chinese, which is why Chinese citizens are buying gold, is they know their current renminbi is being mismanaged by the People's Republican Army, and half of the loans are shark loans over 20%. So their currency is about to be devalued. They can't sell all the materials they make in their giant factories to the world because the world economy and the Baltic Dry Index has dropped. So what it means is that currencies around the world are under tremendous pressure because governments and officials print money to try to print themselves out of their geopolitical problems and out of debt. And you can't keep printing yourself. It's like getting another credit card to pay off a previous credit card because you don't have the money. Now, if you start saving in gold and you actually build a business, you have 2 things. You have money in your MasterCard, but you also have accumulated a inflation-free protection actual currency. Now, explain how someone can start the business and really get rocking and rolling on this. In a matter of a year, they can be making a significant income that can outshine their regular job.
Well, that's correct. But just expand on your previous statement just a little bit about economic conditions. What Karatbars offers is we have a proactive solution, and that is that number one, we're creating a network of savers just like you and I that are accumulating gold by the gram, which is much more usable than gold by the ounce because it's much closer to the transaction value. But not only that, so number one, we're preserving purchasing power, but number two, we're actually accumulating enough gold to be able to use it in commerce on a regular basis, not just once in a blue moon as a curiosity. And then the second side is that we're developing merchants to accept Karatbars gold as a form of payment for their goods and services. So it's an actual gold economy, and that goes much farther than just about any other gold supplier that's out there. And that everybody else says, thank you very much for shopping here. We hope you come back and buy more. Karatbars is actually forming that gold economy and actually making it into a real system.
Right, and I think you mentioned that there's going to be a Karat currency at the end of this year in a few months. There also will be electronic transfer of gold units as well, so people will be able to literally know. And this is better than Bitcoin, which is basically just Bitcoin mining. There's nothing physical behind it. It's better than a physical currency that can be printed, even if it's biometrically kind of made sure with all the little threads they put it in ultraviolet light, things to make sure it can't be, if you want to call hacked or make a false copy of the currency. There's nothing physically there. So the governments, basically people like Obama, want to just print themselves into politics, into their office. And businesses basically, using things like derivatives, have actually created this giant monster of super debt that's sucking real credit and currency out of the real economy. What this will do is it'll bring buying power back to people, so they'll be willing to purchase and buy things with an actual currency that can't be messed with by the government because of a limited amount of gold. And it's a certifiable amount, so it's exchangeable across countries. So if you walk into a country and you have a Karat currency or Karatbars, it's going to be valuable at its actual face value versus, in other words, the buying power is going to be sustained, which is really pretty remarkable. It means wherever you go, if you've got Karat currencies, say the end of the world, or Karatbars, or electronic currency that's literally transferring gold units, it completely gets over a lot of the things that governments are doing to manipulate the currency for their own political needs, but just destroying the power of the savings and the wealth of the public. That's
right. I mean, face it, nothing's going to change until we stop using their money. We got to start using real money. And when you can't print it, you can't manipulate it. And that brings the honest politicians and just weights and measures back into the fold, and that's what honors God and gets us back moving in the right direction.
Right. That's why, for example, what I'd like to see is something like the Karatbars currency linked to what I call electronic bartering. In other words, you could actually have Karatbar currencies as a standard, if you want to call it the gold standard, and then have it married up to something like electronic bartering currency where you can barter for things, but its backup is Karatbars. So you could barter, like in ancient times, so many sheep or goats, so many yards of concrete, so much engineering work or so much dental work, basically using Karatbars as your base, and then have a bartering system where you could literally have encrypted bartering around the world. So I think the combination is going to be amazing, and we're working on a electronic bartering, but I think that the Karatbars would be a fantastic, what I call, center post for that kind of financial system, wouldn't it?
Absolutely, and that's exactly what Karatbars is actually in the process of doing. By the end of this year, it appears we're going to be able to do fractional grams of gold transferred between accounts. So as long as the spender has a Karatbars account with gold in it, and the merchant has a Karatbars account that's active, you'll be able to transfer fractions of a gram of gold to complete whatever transaction that you're doing.
Right, so it'd be very wise for, let's say, vendors or people selling goods and services. And I know a lot of people have picked up, these vendors have picked up things like Bitcoin, but it's far more advantageous to actually have a Karatbars account for a vendor selling, say, groceries or services or whatever, so that you can just simply transfer gold currency, fractional units directly to them. So this is going to open up a whole new kind of economy where basically government manipulation is gone. You can't, and this good crosses all national borders of the world. That's amazing. If you want to know more, don't do it yourself, but don't go online. Just contact Michelle at 888-212-8871, and she'll get you started on your Karatbars business. Savings, putting money in your MasterCard, and getting inflation-proof because the currencies are going to go bye-bye. Back in a moment, the Pete Fettig. With really good solutions here. We have the wing generator program and light sail for energy. We have Karatbars now for people. We have the health solutions with Nutrimeds and our energetic technology from the Power of One's Oxygen, Nutrimeds, energetic scalar technology, and etc. We have the new Bioplasm Pro and Bioplasm Clinical, which is a version of the Metapathia from Russia. The latest versions, we have QRMA, the new ozone technologies. I'm so excited about Karatbars because I personally am a gold saver, and I like the idea of fractional gold that allows me to use it as an actual currency, have a savings account, sponsor other people, build their business for them, as well as them building themselves. So let's say, for example, we have Mr. Rubin, and he's got a right leg, and he sponsors, let's say, one person a month. Well, we're going to be putting other people under him right away. So here in the next few days, there'll be a number of people that will be put under Rubin. So he's going to do tremendously well. Anybody else jumping in, in these early phases is going to do tremendously well because we're going to work hard to put people under their network, making them money so they can buy gold and actually have a savings account and a MasterCard. I mean, what could be better? You have us working for you to build your business to give you income security. I mean, this is not like buying a product like a vitamin or a mineral or something else that it's a multi-level where, like longevity, where you're trying to sell it and you say, well, I got to keep selling this stuff and selling it and people use it up. The problem is you want something that's not going to decay. You want something that's going to build with a kind of a binary system, really build wealth pretty quickly because that's all it is wealth. We're not talking about selling a product that can be used up. We're talking about selling wealth and a wealth-building machine. That's pretty amazing, isn't it?
Well, you bring up a pretty good point, and that's something I really want to expand on, and that is that you're not actually spending money with Karatbars.
Right.
If you think about it, you're exchanging something that is depreciating and going to zero for something that's going to last and will always buy you the same amount of whatever it is that you're buying.
Right. I think there's a comparison between the value of gold. I think if you had gold in, I think, 1922 or 26, and my parents were both born in 1926, and let's say in 1926 you bought X number of grams of gold, I think it's the number of, I remember correctly, was something like $10,000 in gold. that gold would be worth like $3 or $4 million right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's right.
And people don't understand this. The currencies, and this is my prediction, and it's one based on having lots of top guests, and I have two skill sets. I have Vulcan mind meld, which means I absorb other people's knowledge base pretty quickly, and I have a photographic memory. So I can tell you from all the experts I've had on my show, the currencies are dying. It doesn't matter if it's the dollar, it's falling, but it's falling less fast than the other currencies because it's the strongest in the world. But the euro is going to get killed because the Jenga stick of Greece is pulled. The ruble has been killed since last year because the petrodollar has been killed, and they're dumped so much oil that and it's going to get worse now. Now that Iran has this deal with America, they're going to have open doors to dump all kinds of oil, so the price of oil is going to go down more. It's going to kill Russia even more. And China, basically, their economy is a phony economy. They don't recognize the same signs that we had before 2008 in the West, and they're going to get killed as well. They can't sell their goods. So what people need to understand, all currencies at various levels around the world are all going to get clobbered. And the fact is, if you don't have a gold-backed currency, even if you're doing bartering, let's say, I'll give an example. Let's say I have my technical scientist with Professor McCanney, and we have an EBC, or electronic bartering unit. We want as the center points of that bartering unit Karatbars, which means if you're going to, say, sell so many yards of concrete or so much construction for a building or so much dental work or medical work or nutraceuticals, right? Because we'll be able to accept here toward the end of the year, we'll be able to accept Karatbars as payment for supplements. People don't realize that. We'll have that up on our thing so we can actually accept that. And other people say, well, they have Bitcoin acceptable. I think the Karat currency is going to be far superior because it's real money. That's going to be exciting, isn't it? And it means people will have buying power that won't go poof. If the banks go into trouble, they basically already have a policy that says if the banks go insolvent, your deposits are an unsecured investment in the bank, and they can be seized and disappear. And that includes your pension funds, and of course Social Security is not a security fund. It's actually just a promissory note where they took all the money out and it's gone. So all that money people have paid in is a promissory note by a government that tries to print its way out of debt. That's craziness. And all these politicians for decades have basically got themselves elected by giving away goodies that they couldn't afford.
That's right. That's exactly correct. You hit the nail on the head. And going back to the value of gold, I like to paint a couple of scenarios. First of all, right. There's a real paradigm shift that people have to go through with gold, and that is that we look at it in terms of gold is priced in terms of dollars, but when you think about that, you're calculating the value of gold, which has 100% intrinsic value, in terms of dollars, which have zero intrinsic value.
Right.
And it really doesn't matter what the value or the paper price is of gold. It's how much of whatever you want to buy will the gold buy.
Exactly. Let's say a 1 gram gold card is what you're trying to say, and I'm trying to see if this is correct. So that 1 gram gold card, say 5 years from now, will still buy the same amount of groceries, although you might, like the Weimar Republic, have to walk in with a wheelbarrow of dollars or euros to buy the same groceries.
That's correct. I like to use a scenario of the Federal Reserve, which was created in 1913. In 1913, you could take a gram of gold and go down to the store and buy about approximately 20 loaves of bread. A paper dollar would also buy you about 20 loaves of bread. But after 100 years, in 2013, a gram of gold would still buy you 20 loaves of bread, but a paper dollar bought you maybe a third of a loaf. So it's the value of the gold didn't change, but the value of the paper.
Right. Which is why you see my point of marrying Karatbars currency, which is the end of the year, and electronic bartering currency, which uses Karatbars as the standard upon which everything else is based. So, for example, let's say then you get rid of inflation. Then you can build a real economy, because remember it says in the Bible, don't be the lender or the user. So what it means is if you have inflation or usury, it's unethical, and that's why they even had the Shemitah year, so when people made profit, they could return to their land because it didn't destroy the people. Mm-hmm. The fact is, debt is the means of the masters of chaos to maintain control. And debt always results in devastation of people and economies. It always results in war, which is why, unless we have a system that's backed with gold and electronic bartering, this gets aside from national currencies. So let's say that you want to buy a product, say, in Mexico, and your dollar is all of a sudden devalued, your peso is devalued. This happened in Venezuela a few years ago, where their currency all of a sudden got massively devalued. I think, was it 90% or something horrible?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, their buying power disappeared. They could have had 1 million pesos or the currency in Argentina, and all of a sudden, it basically was worthless. So you couldn't afford to buy food. So the same thing is going on in Greece right now. They're going to have to start printing drachmas, but what's going to back it? I don't know. They don't have gold to back it. So if they just print drachmas, they're back to the same thing. They have to have a gold-backed bartering system that gets away from usury and percentages.
That's correct. That's the only way, folks. We got to stop using their money. Get back to real gold, real money.
And by the way, I tell people the main thing right now is not so much just fighting the system, it's to disconnect from the system. You can still be living in your own home, you can still be buying food and groceries, but you just have to start disconnecting from that system, which is basically going to take away your value and your assets and your savings. And you're eventually going to see doctors and dental offices will accept Karat currency, grocery stores, online sales like Amazon will accept Karat currency. Guarantee it, by the end of the year you'll see Amazon will say, hey, we're going to accept Karat currencies and fractional transfer of gold units to buy product. And if Amazon's smart, they'll do it, because if the currency blows up, their company is going to go bankrupt. Because if they raise the price too fast, people won't buy. Because the dollar's so devalued, they can't afford to buy, so their market disappears. And that's why the Baltic Dry Index is the lowest in 50 years. So get your Karatbar currency business going now. Get in right away. The best thing to do, don't log in and try to register yourself. Call Michelle at 888-212-8871. She'll get help from Pete Fedek, our expert, upline. We'll have Pete back on Monday to continue discussion. If you have any questions, contact us. Email us or call us at 888-212-8871. This is another major solution to one of the biggest problems in our society. Is we're stuck with their Fed Reserve notes, which are useless, or currency like the euro, or currency in any country made pesos that are not based on gold, which needs to be the standard, because gold buying power will not decay. It won't canker, as it says. It does not rust. Thank you, Pete Fedek. Again, Karatbars is launched today. Call Michelle to get your Karatbars business going.